Well, this message is for Mormons, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So if you're not a member of the church, you just move along. We are in a really tough situation and have been for a long time. And instead of getting better, it seems to be getting worse. So ever since I was a little kid, people have thought that we believed the craziest crap, I don't know what else to call it, that I've ever heard. Twisting, distorting, taking things out of context. Just the worst form of misrepresentation I could possibly imagine. And come to find out that according to church history, this has been going on for a long time, like from the very beginning. But it appears over my lifetime, due to the internet, to have gotten way worse. On my feed, my social media feed, somehow it knows I'm a member of the church, and it'll pop up these videos made by ex-Mormons, people who left the church, and they are saying things that are absolute garbage, just ridiculous stuff. Like, I don't even know where to start with it. A lot of it's just so twisted and weird. Like, where did you even get that? And I'm sure somewhere you probably could find a member of the church that believes that way actively. I mean, because there are millions of members of the church, and you're going to find some weird ones in there. And a lot of times I feel like they get their stuff from some random talk that some church leader said 150 years ago, and some weird context that was not recorded correctly, and it's definitely not church doctrine. In a church this big that's been around this recently, a lot of people have said a lot of things, and a lot of it has been recorded, and a lot of it not recorded very well. And now there's TV shows that are like horrible. I mean, even in my work environment, I had some coworkers asking me, hey, did you watch this or whatever? And I'm like, what is that? And I look it up and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's representing aspects of our history in ways that are just horribly incorrect. And it's sharing things about the church that are just terribly, terribly misrepresented and incorrect and twisted and distorted and wrong. And people think this is what we believe. And they really do. They think this is like the way that we live our lives. And I have a fairly good idea of how other people live their lives. I mean, just from the fact that I'm as a missionary, I would travel around and I'd visit thousands and thousands of people, and they'd invite us in our homes, and we'd talk, and we get to know each other, and you get to see what other people are like. And then, of course, most of my friends growing up were not members of the church. I've been in their houses, and I get to know them. I go to their churches with them, different churches, not members of my church. And then as an adult, most of my friends that I've had have not been members of the church. I get to know them. I get to know what kind of lives they live, and I know in what ways I'm different. And I can tell you, it's not hugely different. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. I don't do any drugs. I don't lie. I don't steal. I don't cheat. I don't have sex before I'm married. I only sleep with my wife. I only have one wife. I don't look at pornography. I don't even watch movies that have pornographic aspects to them. So things that are rated R, I don't watch stuff like that. I don't know if I said no coffee and no tea. My life is basically devoted to my family, so I do everything that I can to be a good dad and a good husband. I actively try to make the world a better place. You know exactly what ways we're different, and you've probably had the same kind of experiences that I have, and you see we're not terribly different from everybody else. There's a few things like this that are different, but we're made to appear to be absolutely alien, psychopath, cultists, brainwashed idiots. So some of our teachings that are different from other people are twisted to be even more different or weird or seem alien or foreign. I would say probably some of the main ones that are made weird are the concept of deification. And you're familiar with this. We're children of God, and so we believe as children, then heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ. That's what we believe. And I'm not making that up. I just quoted a section in the New Testament. Now, the problem, I think, is that some of the Mormon theologists, Latter-day Saint theologists, have taken some of this and they've kind of gone to far field with it, speculated a lot of things that we just frankly don't know. I had a conversation with a guy who was Baptist. He was actually in the process of converting to Catholicism. But he was like, what is this whole thing about Mormons becoming like God? And I said, well, no, we believe we become like Jesus. It says this in the New Testament, become a joint heir with Christ, be one with Christ. We were even commanded to be. He says, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. But we don't know the details of this. We don't know exactly what this means. We don't know how this is going to be carried out. We don't know what this is going to look like in the future. We have some speculation, but that's exactly what it is. It's speculation. And of course, you hear sometimes in Sunday school classes, people will make comments that are kind of weird, and you're like, that's not really church doctrine. Maybe we shouldn't be saying that in class. That's church speculation. And, maybe a lot of people speculate about this. But I think for right now, you just need to worry about following what Jesus says to do, and you'll figure out the rest later. People really get ahead of themselves. Oh, if we're going to be joint heirs with Christ, then maybe we're going to get our own planet and all this kind of stuff. So here's what I'm asking members of the church to maybe do. If you can try and not pretend that your speculations are church doctrine, or don't represent your speculations, however bizarre they may be, as church doctrine, that would be helpful. Even if a church leader said it. Church leaders are allowed to have opinions and speculation too, but don't represent it as church doctrine, because it's not. We follow the teachings of Jesus Christ, and someday we believe, as Christ says, that we will be one with him, that we will be a joint heir with him. Other ways that people think we believe weird stuff. I think part of it kind of comes from the concept of angels and all of this. So as members of the church, we believe that angel means messenger, and messengers are people, spirit children. So like the angel Michael, or the angel Raphael, or whoever, Gabriel, these are spirit children of God, in the sense that God is their father. And that one of these was Lucifer. And one of these is also Jesus Christ. He calls himself the Son of God. And in the scriptures it says, O Lucifer, thou son of the morning, how art thou fallen? In other words, in the scriptures it says that we are all children of God. And we can take this literally, or you can take this symbolically, or you can take it however you want to take it, but that's what it says. So several ways you can interpret that. One way you can interpret that is that, well, if we're all children of God and God is all our Father, then that would make us all siblings. That's what the words mean on earth anyways. Who knows what that means in heaven? I don't think you do, but that's what the word means, and that's the word that was used. So by that accounting, you'd say, oh, then we're all brothers and sisters, and Jesus is the firstborn, and one of the other children, spirit children of God, is also Lucifer. But he has rebelled, and he's lost his first inheritance or whatever. He's cast out. And this makes sense for what words mean in English on this planet. But who knows? Maybe it doesn't work that way in the eternities. I don't know. Maybe you know. That's great if you know. But then they're like, oh my gosh, Mormons think that, Jesus and Satan are brothers. Well, I don't know. What do you call two people that have the same father? Or how about all of the human race? What do you call all the human race? We all have the same father. And Jesus Christ calls himself the Son. And he calls himself the only begotten of the Father. And he calls himself the firstborn. What do those words mean? I mean, you can take them literally. You can take them symbolically. I don't know. But if you take them, then that's what they could mean. If not symbolically, then in some other way. It's a little different with Jesus, though, because we also believe that Jesus Christ, in and through Jesus Christ, the heavens and the earth were all created. All things were created, all judgment, all salvation, everything is in and through Jesus Christ. And so, although he is the Son of God, we also refer to him as God. There's some scripture where Paul says, although there be gods many and lords many, to us there is just one God, the Father, and one Lord, which is Jesus Christ. That's the way we view it. Jesus Christ is our advocate to the Father. Jesus is the author and the finisher of our faith. So are there some differences? Yes, there's some differences, but I've spent enough time actually sitting in other churches and talking to the people to recognize these differences are not that big. These are very small things, but they're twisted and represented in weird ways and said in weird ways that make them seem way weirder and stuff than they actually are. And then what happens if anybody ever finds out that I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they immediately are like, oh, you're a cultist and you're brainwashed. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I've been to your guys' churches. Like, this is not any different. Joe Rogan was saying that, what do you call a religious organization where the leader's still alive? You call them cultists. What do you call an organization where the leader's dead? A religion. Well, you know what? Jesus Christ is the beginner of our faith. Joseph Smith was just another prophet. There's been lots of prophets. We don't worship him. He's just just like any other prophet. Anyways, what do you guys think we should do about all this?